Captain Jack Sparrow, a fantasy movie hero that we all know and love. You know, that cute pirate who loves his hat very much and gets angry when he's not called Captain.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Today I'm here to tell you the amazing story behind an unforgettable film series. The legendary character in Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow is not just a fun pirate story. It also bears the traces of the story of a real sailor and pirate. Here's a fascinating story that connects Jack Sparrow's identity to Jack Ward. Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the most successful film series of the 21st century and has already become a cult film. Pirates of the Caribbean is a film series that started in 2003 and consists of 5 main films in total. The series, which started with the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, was followed by the films Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and Dead Men Tell No Tales. My favorite is definitely The Curse of the Black Pearl. I guess the first movie of every series is much more impressive. These films gained a huge fan base around the world and were a huge commercial success. The Pirates of the Caribbean series has grossed over $5.5 billion in total box office revenue, making it one of the most profitable film series of all time. Be careful, exactly $5.5 billion. This is truly a great fortune. Maybe you can buy a small country. Pirates of the Caribbean is known for its great action scenes, interesting characters, and of course, the unique personality of Captain Jack Sparrow. With this iconic role, Johnny Depp gained great fame and many awards. Well, what if I told you that Captain Jack Sparrow, one of the most beloved fantasy heroes in the history of world cinema, actually be based by a real-life story? Would this surprise you? I will introduce you to the interesting and unknown life story of Jack Ward, the world-famous pirate of British origin and the Ottoman Empire, who is the real inspiration for the legendary character of Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. This story reveals surprising facts and true connections behind the scenes of the film. It's going to be a fun and interesting story, so we'll get started right away. First, let's remember a little about Captain Jack Sparrow. Sparrow is an unforgettable character from the Pirates of the Caribbean series. His crazy attitude, cunning, and famous looks are in our memories. At the same time, we have witnessed many times throughout the film series how quickly he changes sides for his own interests. Despite all this, we watched with astonishment the sacrifices he made for those around him. However, there is a fact that many of us do not know. Captain Jack Sparrow may have been inspired by a person who actually lived in the real world and left his mark on history. His real name is Jack Ward. He also had a nickname, Jack Birdie. So who is this Jack Ward? Captain Jack Ward was born in 1553 in the coastal town of Faversham in southeast England. Since he was the child of a fisher family, he grew up on ships from his early years. He spent his youth fishing. In 1588, Captain Jack Ward's life changed completely. The English king converted from Catholicism to Protestantism when Jack Ward was a young man. This situation made the Vatican, the leader of the Christian world, very angry. With the guidance of the Vatican, Spain, which had the strongest navy of the time, attempted to invade England as the protector of Christianity. The Spanish attacked England with the largest fleet history had ever seen. England was facing the biggest naval attack it had ever suffered in its entire history. The British stopped Spain with the help of the Netherlands. But the war between Spain and England continued for many years. Thereupon, Queen Elizabeth of England ordered to attack the Spanish ships. This order begins the legend of Captain Jack Ward. All sailors, including fishermen in England, attack the Spanish ships. Among these sailors, one's name is heard a lot, Captain Jack Ward. It became a nightmare for Spanish ships and gained great fame. Now Jack has started hunting Spanish ships instead of fishing. While working for the Queen of England, Ward uses all his piracy skills to attack Spanish ships and get rich. Captain Jack had both a dark and a light side, just like Captain Sparrow. Even though he was a pirate, he also had a caring and lovely heart. Like the legend of Robin Hood, he shared the loot he gained from piracy with the poor people and those around him. Captain Jack Ward became the Robin Hood of the seas. Dutch ships, which were allies of England at the time, but were in trade with Spain, also received their share of Ward's attacks. Captain Jack Ward also punished the Dutch for trying to play a double game. These events did not go unnoticed by the Spanish and Dutch, who saw him as both an independent pirate and a traitor. Ward makes both friends and enemies very quickly. He became one of the most colorful and talented pirates of his time. However, with the death of Queen Elizabeth of England in 1603, things began to get worse for Ward. James replaced Elizabeth as the new King of England. King James wanted to end the war with Spain and restore peace in Europe. The British government ordered all pirates on leave to cease their attacks on Spanish ships and return to England. This order was very bad news for Ward, who was in love with freedom, the seas, and piracy. In addition, the British government stated in its order that the crimes of those who surrender their weapons and ships would be alleviated. Ward suddenly found himself guilty and in danger of going to prison again. Jack Ward, unlike many pirates, obeyed this order to return. He handed over all the weapons and loot he had. Ward was pardoned for surrendering his ship, weapons, and a small fortune in war booty. Ward first turned to fishing again, but England had become very poor due to the effects of the war that lasted for years. The administration was corrupt, and things started to be done through bribery. The people were in poverty and misery. That's why Jack Ward had to quit fishing and join the Navy. At that time, working in the British Navy was not a preferred job. Harsh working conditions and harsh punishments were common. It had been 14 days since Jack Ward left land. Conditions on the ship were quite difficult. Even though it had only been 2 weeks since they left the port, the ship's crew was experiencing a shortage of clean water and food. At that moment, news came to the ship. A few rich Englishmen who did not convert to Protestantism were escaping to Spain with all their wealth. This news does not please Jack Ward and the ship's crew. They all decide to attack the ship and seize the spoils. They capture the ship, but they cannot find the loot they want on the ship. This incident also meant that Ward could no longer return to England. Ward attacked another ship, carrying British people with a ship belonging to the British Navy. Hearing about the incident, King James issued a warrant for Jack Ward's arrest, dead or alive. Meanwhile, Jack Ward and his crew held an election for leadership. This was the first election in the history of piracy. Ward was unanimously elected captain. Captain Jack Ward thought that the ship he had was inadequate and small. That's why he captured a large French ship with his men in the same year. He couldn't resist calling her an ironic name just like his own. Little John. Little John was not a name chosen at random. Robin Hood's assistant's name was Little John. Captain Jack Ward saw himself not as a pirate, but as the Robin Hood of the seas. It was almost confirmed years after his death that he was not wrong in this thought. American historian Wilson mentions in one of his books that Captain Jack Ward took money from the rich and distributed it to the poor. All this did not please King James of England. He sent a small fleet to capture Ward. Captain Jack Ward could no longer be accommodated off the coast of England. That's why he sailed to the Mediterranean with his men. Captain Jack Ward captured a ship carrying gold coins, silk, and valuables in the Greek Sea. This ship was the Venetian ship named Rainera e Sodarina. With this incident, Captain Jack Ward became the most wanted man in the world. But Ward had bigger problems. He had captured a ship and needed to sell the goods he had. Jack Ward could neither go to his country, England, nor to the shores of other European countries. Captain Jack Ward understood that there was only one place he could go to sell the goods he captured: Morocco. Captain Jack earned a lot of money by selling the goods he captured there. Jack was now a very rich man. Sailors escaping from England and the Netherlands began to join Jack's team. Captain Jack now had a crew of 100 and a fleet. He established a connection with the Ottoman commander Kara Osman, who was originally British like himself, in Tunisia. He helped the Ottoman Navy in return for giving him a small piece of land and a port in Tunisia. Jack Ward, who started to establish warm relations with the Ottomans, now adopted Tunisia as his home. After a while, he accepted Islam and became a citizen of the Ottoman Empire. Jack Ward, who took the name Yusuf, took off his hat and replaced it with a turban, which is a Muslim sign, although not like in the movie. In just 3 years, the number of his men, consisting of Turks and British, exceeded 500. Among them were famous pirates such as Captain Sampson, Anthony Johnson, Bishop Richard of Yarmouth, and James Proctor of Southampton. He engaged in piracy on behalf of the Ottoman Empire for many years. He won many victories against the navies of other countries with the fleet under his command. Captain Jack Ward became one of the most famous sailors in the world. Ward's power, which became almost the sole ruler of the central Mediterranean, reached such a level that King James of England decided to pardon him. He sent an envoy to meet with Ward. Jack Ward was offered to return to his country, be forgiven for all his crimes, and receive 30,000 gold coins in return. Jack Ward would answer without any difficulty. His answer was no. Moreover, the answer no was not the only thing that surprised the King of England. The envoy and his crew who went to bring Jack Ward did not return to England and joined Captain Jack Ward. This incident spread by word of mouth in England. Jack Ward became a folk hero who challenged the king. Stories like Robin Hood began to be told and songs started to be written in his name. The king and government of England were very disturbed by this situation. After several failed assassination attempts, they decided to ruin Jack Ward's reputation in his home country. They began writing literary works and articles about Jack Ward. One of these works was the book A Christian Turn a Turk, written by Robert de Born in 1612. The British government was not satisfied with this and staged a theatre play called The Tragic Lives and Deaths of Ward and Danasker, also written by Robert de Born. In the play, Ward expressed his soul to the Turks. He sells himself to Islam and becomes a Muslim, and despite the threats, he does not return to his old religion. However, as the curtain closes, he receives his punishment and is torn to pieces and thrown into the sea. While this play was being staged in London, the real Ward, that is, Yusuf Rees, was continuing to fight in the Mediterranean. The reputation assassination of Ward by the King of England was successful. Jack Ward was now known as a treacherous, barbaric, and cruel person by some of the people of England. However, the truth was not like this at all. American historian Wilson took the opinions of European sailors who went to Tunisia about Jack Ward in his book. According to their words, Jack Ward helped the poor, the one who helps is a moral person. Jack Ward never returned to his country. Although he married a Sicilian woman named Jessamina, who also converted to Islam, he continued to send money to his wife, who remained in England. But Ward, like all people, could not overcome death, and he died of plague in Tunisia in 1622. He was 70 years old when he died. Although some in England today know him as a treacherous pirate, for some English people, he is remembered as a humble, fearless, and great British sailor who taught the Turks piracy. Ward's story is now known to us all. Ward was a charismatic, impressive, generous man who had a penchant for stealing, just like Captain Jack Sparrow, and who made all kinds of sacrifices for those around him. Also, an interesting coincidence was that Ward's nickname was Captain Jack Sparrow. According to Scottish traveler William Lithgow, Ward referred to himself as Captain Jack Sparrow in conversation. And here I need to share another interesting detail. Barbossa, one of the most important characters of the Pirates of the Caribbean series, Captain Barbarossa is also based on a historical personality, Barbaros Hayretin. Barbaros Hayretin's real name is Hizir Reis, and he was called Redbeard, because the word Barbarossa means Redbeard in Italian. Again, Barbossa, like Ward, continued his maritime career by becoming a pirate and serving the Ottoman Empire. He went down in history as a very successful sailor who was the nightmare of all European states. He won countless wars and organized pirate attacks on many cities of Europe. In short, even the name of the movie's Barbossa character was taken from Barbaros Hayretin. If you see all these as coincidences, now I would like to share a few details that will conclude these coincidences. Look at the picture carefully. This is one of the posters for Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie. If you look closer at the picture, you will see that the earring in Captain Jack Sparrow's ear has a star and crescent symbol. The crescent and star symbol, as it is known, is a symbol used by the Ottoman Empire in its flags and monograms. When you examine the movies, you will notice that Sparrow wears the crescent star earring in the first movie of the series, The Curse of the Black Pearl, and the last movie, Dead Men Tell No Tales. The filmmakers appear to have conveyed a secret message implying that Ward is actually Captain Jack Sparrow. In conclusion, there is strong evidence that Captain Jack Sparrow and other Pirates of the Caribbean characters are based on real people. John Ward's adventures and Ottoman influence seem to have played a role in the creation of these legendary characters. This makes the Pirates of the Caribbean series even more interesting and historically rich. Of course, the final decision is yours. Is Captain Jack Sparrow a completely fictional hero, or is he based on an Ottoman pirate named Ward? It makes me happy to read your comments. So, if you are wondering what I think about this, in all likelihood, Pirates of the Caribbean is among the best movie series I have ever watched. Captain Jack Ward is one of the greatest sailors and pirates who ever lived in this world. Captain Jack Sparrow is also a great movie hero. I love both of them and think they are the same person. I hope the series doesn't end. Come on, Johnny Depp. Put on that hat once again and present yourself as Captain Jack Sparrow. I hope this story touched and excited you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like the video for more interesting content and historical links. I will continue to include many stories and information that will surprise you in my next videos. Thank you and goodbye.